This armory protects my heart.
Monsters live inside our souls, waiting to come alive, turning our hearts cold. My blood is black, it seeps through the cracks. If I could take it back, if I could. Fighting love that runs through our veins is an empty space, a lonely game. I hear you cry every night in my dreams. I'll take it back, my Valkyrie. I'll bring you home.
Nice freezing here.
Yeah, it might do a little bit of freezing, but I'm gonna wait till it shows me on the live stream here.
Let's see.
Okay. All right. So on my end, Chris, we are good. So I think we are good to go. Everybody bear with us, but we're going to get started right now. Welcome to Live Stream Fridays here at Geeky Gecko Creations, where I am going to do live streams with different gecko hosts and different people that I bring in. So today we have Geckopia with us, Chris from Geckopia. So can you see yourself on the screen, Chris, on the YouTube? It looks good.
Yeah, I'm seeing perfectly fine here.
Okay, there might be a little delay there. So anybody in the chat, if you happen to see any delay or audio problems, please let us know so we can try to address that. But Chris, it looks like we are good to go. So I'm gonna let you do a little bit of introduction. Tell us who you are, what you're about, and how you got into reptiles.
So hey guys, my name is Chris. Thank you for bringing me here, Frank. It's an honor to be here with you. But basically, I own a leopard gecko and red eye classmates. Those are the main two species that I mainly breed. And also, I do create products, which is eco-friendly products that helps environments at the same time, and also great for reptiles as well to create really cool decorations for the enclosures. So
That's you in a nutshell, huh?
yeah.
So
So just yeah, go ahead.
no, finish your thought. That's okay.
Yeah, so hopefully I can reach out to more people and impact a lot more people and help others who loves reptiles be there on side to support for everyone who loves reptiles.
You know, I first saw your videos on YouTube, and there's not too many people putting out fresh leopard gecko videos, right? But I saw you putting out like weekly, bi-weekly, three times I saw you putting out fresh content, and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be somebody. Like he has a passion for geckos. And I think a lot of other people have a passion for geckos, and it's great to have someone like you who will answer questions and who has a passion as well. So thank you once again for being here, and excited to get through all of these questions with you right here. So, how exactly did you get started into reptiles? Did you always like reptiles as a kid?
So I used to catch around like the wild lizard when I was a kid. And by the way, I was born in South Korea and I was raised there. And then during the middle school, I came here in the United States. So yeah, I used to love catching lizard and just love to go with friends and do that. But when I moved here, language was like the very first thing that I had to learn, and I didn't really have a lot of time to like get interested in reptiles. So I was just not into reptiles for a couple of years, and it was actually pretty new. During college, while I was a student, I was actually thinking about getting a dog or cat, because I wanted a pet, but as a student, I know that I won't be able to spend a lot of time with the dogs or cats, and I travel sometimes too, so I think it won't be really good for dogs or cats. So I was just skipping onto the side and saw this random video on YouTube where they review like these red eye claw skink, and the first time when I saw that skink, it reminds me of this small beautiful dragon. I just had to get it. So I just literally called every store in Las Vegas, which Las Vegas is where I live. And I called every store and they didn't have any red eye claw skinks. So I was a little bit disappointed. But one day, this one store just called me back saying that they got the red eye claw skink, and I got him. And the day I got the red eye claw skink, I just fell in love with them. And yeah, I just started all my passion there from that.
Wow, I didn't know that. So you started with red eye crocodile skinks, huh?
Yeah. So the first thing that I did normally was like I created my Instagram page just for like a hobby. I
Okay.
want to kind of take a photos and how they grow and do my personal like study and just sharing my passion. Basically, that's what I was doing. But then after a couple weeks, couple months, like people started reaching out to me and asking like what the species is, because they were very unique at that time when I was in college. It was not really easy to find in any stores, especially in Las Vegas. And I got mine really, really. It was really lucky. I had a really great chance to get them. But back then, not many people knew about the red eye claw scheme, so they got interested in my page and they were starting to following me and they were asking if they could buy red eye claw scheme from us. So basically, I was like, I had no way to get him because it was so rare at that time. But then because I had a pair, I got another female later a couple months because I begged to store owners to get one for me, another one, because I feel like having one red eye skink would be too lonely for some reason as a beginner. Like I want to have like friends that are captain exposure together. So I wanted another red eye skink. So I paired them, and later couple months, I feel like 8, 9 months later, they start laying an egg. It wasn't like a bunch of eggs, but if you had a red eye skink before, you probably know they don't lay a lot of eggs. They only lay like 3, 4 eggs per year. So I started from that and started hatchling, and yeah, started expanding, and that's how everything started. And when I got into a certain point, I pretty much like was doing research every day for almost like 5, 6 hours every day. I was so passionate about it, so I just studied them a lot, and then somehow leopard gecko just got into my one of video, and that's how I got into leopard gecko, and I started expanding leopard gecko as well. And then once I got the leopard geckos, I was just buying all these products. You know how like they need like supplements bowls, water bowls, and mealworm bowls, and hide all these things. But like in the Asian side, where when you look at their setups, how like here in America, normally people they like to put it as a bioactive like vivarium setups to make it more natural. But in Asia, they normally like to put it a little bit like a modern type. They put like kitchen towel with a lot of different fake plants, decorations, and I got those motives from them. And then somehow, if there's any other way where I can make it a little bit more modern, especially in leopard geckos, you don't have to really keep it like a natural environment as long as you have all the like items like hide and dish and everything. They will survive and they will do perfectly fine. So I started building prototypes for products. And that's how I got into it. Yeah, so I have a gecko place and triple dish now.
So I'll tell you, Chris, there's a lot. So there's a lot of people that love reptiles, a decent amount of people that breed reptiles, but very few people that actually created their own product line. So you're like a rarity in my eyes, and I admire you in that sense. Can you tell us a little bit? How did you create your product line? How do you like warehouse it, or do you work with a producer? Or can you tell us a little about that?
All right, sure. So the reason how I got into this product production was, when I had a bunch of leopard geckos, like at that time I had about like 8, 9 leopard geckos, and during those time, I had to buy a bunch of bowls for each leopard geckos, and especially if you own a lot of leopard gecko, you probably understand the cleaning time is really, really long. Like you have to clean calcium dish and water bowls, and sometimes like some of them are very fragile. Like if they're made with glass or like ceramic or something else. So I wanted to create some kind of products that could save a lot of times for leopard gecko owners, and also at the same time, it looks really, really clean and modern. So if you're the type of person who love like a modern setup for your leopard gecko enclosure, which I have it right here in the back, um, it will be really, really perfect. It saves your money, and also because you don't have to buy a lot of products, you just need simple one triple dish and you're all good to go. And also, they're made with the corns and plant sugar, so it's really good for the environment as well. At the same time, but I just wanted to create like some kind of modern products that's not in the market, because that's what I love when I'm like creating setups for my leopard geckos. So,
Yeah. Now, I watch a lot of Shark Tank as well, and I know that this is a hobby and passion for you. Do you have a patent on your design, or did you need one, or you couldn't get one, or?
So right now, currently, we are working on trademark is one of the main parts, since we have to have a brand logo there on the product. So that's basically that's something that we're doing right now, and I'm believing it takes about 6, 7 months. And patent is also one thing that we are also working on, so that no one can really like damage our products. So
Right.
yeah, hopefully everything goes well. But I mean, everything is all my first time, so I'm just learning throughout the process. So Yeah.
Well, you're doing great, man. So, however you're manufacturing or producing them, keep
Oh
it
yeah.
up. It seems to be working for you. And I see that you come up with like new lines and stuff, like I'm looking at your website right now. It looks like we're at the Geckopia Triple Dish 2.0. Is that the
Yeah.
model we're at?
Yeah. So I had a one. So basically, how I created was I remember like in high school, I took this engineering class where I learned about 3D printing. I have a little bit of knowledge where I can use a 3D printer. So I was because I didn't have a lot of money to invest to like manufacture these, like whole product at the large size. I I went with 3D printer first, which I had a little bit of knowledge into that. So I started designing everything myself and basically communicating with my followers and seeing how they like my products. And I've been just fixing things as how they wanted me to fix. And I created the first triple dish with the smaller versions. I wish I had that one, but it was a little bit too small for leopard geckos. Turns out it was good for hatchlings, but it wasn't really good for other size leopard gecko. And I had some of customers saying like some geckos when they were eating, their head gets stuck. So like eventually pull it out.
Those super
I
giants get stuck, huh?
yeah. So I had to make some changes, and then I made some change from their recommendations, and then I created 2.0. But there's a lot more things to fix, which I wanted to make it perfect, but I have to keep trying and use it for my reptile and see how they like it and what's not working for them, and just fixing as go.
Well, you're a smart guy. I didn't know that's how you're doing it. 3D printing. That's good stuff.
But now I'm actually I have a factory. They're creating these products in a large size because we were actually trying to go into these local stores first, where I got my
Oh.
first red eye class skink. I wanted to really work with them first and learn a lot of things with them together. And also, we're preparing these products on Amazon as well. So in a couple months, Amazon will have our products and they will be fulfilling all of our products all over the places. So hopefully
Wow,
things
that's
go
huge,
well.
man. Well done to you, Chris. There is a question now that we're talking about 3D printing from one of your fans. Allegra. Oh no, sorry, maybe Allegra. Allegra underscore Caneva wants to know what program did you use for 3D modeling when you were doing that?
There's a couple of programs, and it really varies depending on what kind of programs it's best suited for you. Especially like if you're working these type of products, you don't really need to go into like the professional versions. So I normally use a Fusion, which is the one that I used to use when I was in high school while I was learning in class, and that's the one that I use. And also um, there is another program which after you design the prototypes, you have to print them, and in order to do that, you have to use another program which is called Cura. That's it. That's the programs I use, and I no longer use them anymore because um, right now I really wanted to focus on that products first, and then have that settled, and then want to move on to the other designs. But
Okay.
those are the two programs that I used for the 3D printer.
Well, I think that definitely helps Allegra. So I hope that answered your questions. And she has a couple other questions based on different topics that we'll get to. I just want to stick with the theme at hand here. So that kind of leads into another question. How did you teach yourself about the marketing side and business side of the hobby, as well as like editing videos, website design? Because you have a really nice website. For anyone who's new, like wanting to get into that stuff, how did you learn that?
So right after I graduated from college, I was working at the same time. I was very interested in this like e-commerce industry. So I had a couple of businesses that I started called drop shipping. I'm not sure if you have ever heard of it before, but I've been doing that, and basically I literally Googled everything, and that's how I found all the resources. Like if you write YouTube and everything, they have everything there, how to create a really good design for websites, and also for the marketing side, I'm also learning it as I'm going. But I just find all these resources from the books. I have a lot of books that I just read and then see if that works for me. But that's how I usually learn from the marketing side. And also, I look other brands, like big brands, how they market their products and stuff like that. And that's how I learn it. What was the other questions?
Oh, about video editing, website
video.
design.
So honestly, video editing was my first thing. It was my first time doing it when I created my YouTube channel. I had a little bit of experience creating like advertising video for like my dropshipping businesses before. So I had a little bit of experience with the Photoshop, Premiere Pros, and all those things. But when I was doing a YouTube channel, it definitely took a lot of time for me to record a video and also editing the video. It took about like 8 hours, 9 hours every single time when I have new videos. And I just literally did that for 6 months straight up. And then once I start getting more viewers and had a lot of other things to do, I decided to hire someone who could do editing for me because it will save a lot of time for me. Especially if I have a lot of things which I have to ship the products, talk with a lot of customers who reach out to me. There's a lot of things that I would have to work on, and in order to like save more time, because if I don't hire someone, I will literally will sleep less, and if I do that for a very long time, it's not going to be good for my health. So definitely, I wanted to really focus my time into something that's more important, and I think video editing is important too, but I know how to do it, but it takes a lot of time, and I think that's not my main focus. My main focus is more on the product side. So currently I do hire someone to record, edit the video for me at the moment. So as soon as I record a video, I send them my video, and then they just edit my video and just use that video for my channel every week.
Wow, there you go. Teamwork, right?
Yeah.
So talking about time, in our pre-chat, I told you I would ask you about this in the chat. If you don't mind sharing, or at whatever you feel comfortable sharing, what are you doing full time right now, coupled with the reptile business, to help you grow and just to have the financial support to be able to support yourself while you're growing this hobby?
Mm-hmm. So I'm in sales as a part of my full-time business, full-time work job in Las Vegas for Seizures, and yeah, I'm doing this as another full-time, which I create products, ship products, and do services, and breed leopard geckos and red eye skinks, and that's pretty much what I've been doing for a year. And it's a lot of work and a lot of time, but I definitely love what I'm doing, and I do learn a lot from those experience, and I've been making a lot of adjustments with that as well while doing both of the jobs together. Especially like I don't really have a lot of time after work, so I would just sacrifice my sleep and focus more into business. And hopefully one day I can make this business as a full time for me, so that I can put more effort and put more things into it.
Well, I think you're on the right road because you're already making yourself a household name, a gecko household name by your products. Like I said, not many people have actual reptile products. You do, but your products are also eco-friendly and so practical. Like if I was starting out with buying leopard geckos and not trying to do like the shortcut route, your products are very reasonably priced. I'm on your website here. It looks like $11 for that triple dish, and it comes in many different colors that people can customize, and people love customization, right? So if you guys do need a food dish or also some of the other products that Chris offers, he has a gecko hide here, which is a water bowl / hide, right? Water on the top, or on the top, I guess they could just get away from the heat of.
So I actually have a product here on my end right now, just for the reference.
Okay.
Basically, we have a closed lid for water, especially when you're cleaning the other side. Sometimes the water can go here, and we do have a wall right between the waters and mealworms. So
That's smart.
You won't really disturb mealworms, but you can basically remove lids and there's a calcium bowl you can use. So you can literally take this out while you're cleaning and put it back in the other way, and yeah, you're done. And
Perfect.
Also, I created this handle because some of my customer, when I first created my first prototype, they had an issue picking up their bowls, not triple dish, but other bowls where if they have a really tall enclosure, it's hard to reach. So I created a little bit of handle with the walls so that it's easier for them to pick it up when they're in the enclosure.
Well, that thing's beautiful, man. Do you have a gecko hide handy to show? Or if not, oh, there it is. So that's your other product, right?
So every product, when I create my products, I try to create some kind of beneficial effects. So the triple dish is to save money, save time cleaning, and also save the environment. But for this one, I created this gecko place because one day I was randomly scrolling down the Facebook videos, and I had this breeder. I don't recognize his name, but he literally accidentally killed all the geckos that were in the rec system due to the malfunction for the thermostats. And they had no place to evacuate, right? When it's overheating in the tub and they can't escape from the tub. So I gotta find some kind of solutions for those type of case. So I created this roof where they can evacuate. It's not 100% safe. I wouldn't say 100% safe, but at least they have some possibility of staying alive when there's overheating. Because a lot of my geckos, they love to spend on the top up here when it's I think it's not because of the temperature, but they just love spending time here, and sometimes they like to squish their face here, and it's really cute when I see that. But yeah, everything that I build for the products, I try to solve some kind of issues that a lot of reptiles owners are facing. It's hard to create one, but I love what I'm doing. So.
Well, that's smart, man. We'll look for you on Shark Tank one day, making your pitch with the gecko house and the triple dish bowl.
There's a lot of things I want to work on, but at the moment, there's a lot of capitals and a lot of money to spend in order to create really good products. So I'm starting with the really simple ones, but hopefully in the future, yeah, I could really bring really, really cool products in Shark Tank. And
yeah. Bring reptiles to the surface, right? Geckopia. Oh, by the way, your name Geckopia is so cool. Like Utopia, Geckopia, just like being surrounded by geckos. That's awesome, man. I love the name. The brand is really cool too. So, moving on to our next topic here, it also touches on a question that a fan had. So in my little guide here, we're going to talk genetics now. And the first section is, do you have a favorite morph? And Allegra, actually, why don't you answer my question first, and then we'll do a question from the fan. So, do you have a favorite morph of leopard gecko?
So, the very first one was usually like every year I get interested in new morph for some reason. So I start getting new morph. But right now, as of right now, Black Knight and Tangerine, Blood Tangerine is my favorite so far.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I love doing, and I just love their colors a lot.
So Alexis _CE_09 says, what do you think about the mix between a blood tangerine and a bell albino? What do you think about that?
I'm not 100% sure about the mix between blood and bell, but what I've heard from other breeders saying is that when you mix bell with the tangerine lines, it makes the colors more brighter. I don't know if it's just a bell that does that, but I heard it's because of a lot of good intensifier, I guess, the color intensifier for the tangerines. So I have never had any geckos that was mixed with the blood and bell, but this year I will have one that will be bred with bell and blood. So I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out.
But there it is there.
That's how other people were saying. So I wanted to try it out and see how it goes for that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
I guess it's really good. Yeah. As long as you like both of the genetics, I highly recommend it.
So in case someone doesn't know what a blood is or what a bell is, can you briefly touch on that?
the blood is basically like a tangerine, one of the tangerine lines. So they call it blood tangerine, which was created from JMG. And Bell is just like an albino. There's three different type of albino there. Which one is Turnfur, and second is Rainwater, and third is Bell. And it's just two different genetics. And Bell is recessive, and blood tangerine is a polygenic.
Okay, very well explained. And to your point, I think, like you're saying, Bell is becoming more popular now, like more worked with, because there's a lot more of it out there compared to like 5 years ago, would you say? Or is it still Tremper still dominating the market?
Both of them are good genetics. I just don't have a lot of experience with the Bell at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I do know like there's a lot of people like Bell more than Tremper because I think it's less common. Tremper is a lot popular nowadays, and they want to try new things. Which Bell has been existed for a long time, but there's not many people who works with a Bell when you compare to Tremper. So I guess Bell is definitely one of the more that a lot of people like. If you wanted to do some different albino projects. So.
Yeah, and it's all about variation and having lots of projects to work on, right? That's one of the reasons people love this hobby. So tying into morphs, Allegra goes back and asks, "Are you interested in a morph that you don't have right now?"
Not right now. I have a lot actually. Have you heard of a red devil? I really want
No,
all
what
of the morphs
is
someday.
that? What is
You don't
that?
know red devil?
I don't, Chris. What is that?
Okay. So it's I will have a video this tomorrow actually.
Okay.
Reviewing all about the tangerine. So it's one of the tangerine lines that was found in China, whose name is SFF Geckos, I think. And they created this red devil, which is mixed with I don't exactly know what tangerine they used, but it was mixed between tangerine and bell. And the color is really, really crazy. Like it's glowing orange, I would say. It's one of the brightest orange I've ever seen in entire tangerine line. They're very, very expensive, but I hope I can get them in the future. But yeah, they are one of the best morph that I wish I could have in the future. And also another one is the Black Knight Galaxy. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't yet, but it's a galaxy that's a black knight. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's the other one that I want in the future.
By the way, speaking of black knights, you have some very nice black knights. Where did you buy your original breeders from? Was that from Europe, from an English, or from a USA breeder?
So when I was doing a Black Knight, you probably know Black Knight has some issues with the inbreeding issues where they grow slow. Their growth rate is slower than other morph, and sometimes they have a kinked tails, which is caused by the it could be caused by the temperature issue from incubations, but also inbreeding issues. So when I did some research, I tried to get the variety of bloodlines for the Black Knights, so that I may face some inbreeding issue later, but I want to make sure it is a mix so that I'm not really risking too big health issues for the geckos. So one of them was from Netherlands, who is the guy who works with the Black Knights for a very long time. I can't remember the name for some reason. Man,
Is he American or European?
Netherlands. He owns a Facebook page called Black Knight Leopard Gecko. I think that's the page. But if you look it up, he's one of the famous guy. And the another one was from LM Gecko, Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, she has some good ones. I don't think she's working with them anymore, but she had really good Black Knight. So you know Ganji, right? My Black Knight character.
Yes, I'm looking him up right now.
He is from her, and also, oh man, I can't remember the third one, but yeah, I got from different breeders so that I'm facing less issue with the inbreeding.
Okay, that's smart. So that's good to be aware of, right? With certain genetics like Tangerine, that's highly inbred, Black Knight, that's highly inbred. You do want to diversify the lines a little bit and kind of get from different breeders, right?
And every year I try to get new leopard gecko, black knight leopard gecko lines from different breeders. So hopefully that will help a lot when it comes to line breeding like black knights.
And they are not a cheap gecko to get, right?
No.
You pay for that. You pay for that quality, don't you?
The first pair, I actually got my black knights from different breeders. So I wouldn't say first pair, but the first year when I got my black knight, it cost me over like 5K just for the black knights.
Wow.
5-6K. And it was like 3 of them. So.
Oh, that's nice. One male, 2 females.
Yeah. Right now I have 1 male. So last year I had 1 male, 2 female. Now I have 9 hatchlings that are all female.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'll be pairing them with new black knight that came from Netherlands. So I recently ordered another one from Netherlands, and I'm pretty much going to be pairing him with the hatchling so that they're getting new blood in their mating.
Very cool. So if someone's interested in black knights in the USA, they can definitely hit you up, right?
And also the reason why I love black knights, starting from Red Eye Tusking. When I found the Red Eye Tusking from the random YouTube video, they said they created that. You know the movie called How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the motive from the Red Eye Tusking.
Really?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, I love Toothless, so oh my god, I need to get him. But when I found Black Knight, they look more like Toothless.
They do, yeah.
So that's why I got Black Knight.
That is funny. Yeah, because you sell stickers, right, and stuff. So let me see if I can find some stickers of your little. Yeah, here we go. Here's a Black Knight sticker. What did you say his name was? What's his? Ganji. There he is. Yeah. I don't know if you can see because we might have a minor lag, but I am showing him on the screen right now. Black leopard gecko.
I'll probably see it later.
Yeah. Black Knight leopard gecko decal stickers. So if you want one, guys, $3. You can put it on your card, laptop, notebook, whatever, right? And people be like, "What is that?" And then they could explain what it is.
And also, I created this sticker to represent all my geckos that I breed here in my locations. So again, the Black Knight one came from my Ganji character, and there's a Tangerine one that came from Blood Tangerines, and also a WY version came from another WY pair, and Galaxy. I have Galaxy in my collection, so everything is from my collections. And I wanted to create some kind of sticker so that I can really create memories while I'm having these reptiles. It's all about fun and yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, people love characters, so that's a smart idea, and like you said, it makes it fun. Let me.
You can put a name on it too, since it's waterproof.
Oh, it's waterproof too. That's very good. Okay, well, nice. Let's see here. We got another question by Allegra Kaniva, and you talked about it a little bit, but are there any 2021 projects that you did not mention? So you mentioned the Blood Bell as a project. You're continuing the Black Knights as a project. Do you have any other secret projects or anything that you're willing to mention here on the stream about next year?
Black Knight Galaxy someone. Last year I paired Galaxy with the Black Knights, which I created Snow, Paddy Cliffs, Black Knights. Which not everything will be considered as a Black Knight Snow. I will always look at the quality first, but I have some decent dark hatchlings that carries Snow and Heavy Cliff. So hopefully next year when I pair them, I would create something like a Black Knight Galaxy. The ones that I want are super, super cool. I don't think I'll be able to produce that. I think that needs a lot of time of line breeding, but yeah, that's one of the morphs that I'm working on. And also, I think I mentioned the Firebolt. That's the another one. WY is the one. I pretty much shared all of the projects, but Yeah, those are the things, and I think the Black Knight Galaxy is the one of my favorite ones that I can't wait to do for this year.
So you're shooting for a black knight with all black eyes. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I love that colorway.
Okay, that would be
I
sick.
have a lot to talk about with the Cipher, but
Oh, nice. Well, good, because that was one of the things that I was tripping out about, because I was like, oh man, I didn't get to do my research like I wanted to on the Cipher. So thank you for putting in that time, because we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But as far as projects for next year, it's hard to see their name on stream, but I think it's Spider.Bite wants to know, how often do you have babies if people want to buy babies from you? What does that look like next year?
for Red Plus Skink, since we do since
Yeah,
we
both. You could do
have
both.
Red Plus Skink, for Red Plus Skinks, each females do lay about 3 or 4 eggs per year. But for a leopard gecko, it's going to be really, really different. I mean, some geckos may just lay 4 eggs per season. Some geckos could lay up to like 16 eggs, 18 eggs, I think, depending on how their condition is and how they're doing. But for next year, my estimate number for leopard gecko will be somewhere like 50 to 80 nestlings. That's the number I'm assuming.
It's a good amount.
Red Octostic, it's not really that big. 30, 20, that's really small since they don't lay eggs a lot.
So according to your website, you have some red eyes available now? Red eye crocodile skinks?
So only females available. And everything is all sold out. And I just don't have a lot available, so
okay, yeah.
Kind of hard,
how do you tell a female from a male of those? Because I haven't researched that yet.
So when you look at their back of their feet, which we call it as a pad, male tends to have this white mark on like the corner of their fingers, and females doesn't have any of those things. So that's how people normally tell. And some people look at their head size, which females tend to have a smaller one, but I tend to find it's really hard to differentiate when you look at their heads, because there are females that look just like a male head. So the best way to figure out if they're female or male is by looking at their head.
Okay,
and
so
that's only on the back of their feet, not on the front arm or hand or something.
Okay, well, very nice. Before we move on to the Cipher genetic, there is, let's see. Actually, we're going to talk about the Cipher genetic first and then go to another question. So let's talk about this Cipher genetic. What is the Cipher gene, and why is that exciting or not exciting according to your thoughts?
I think it's definitely exciting. Anything that's new morph out there, I think it's exciting. It's just I'm not working with them like right now. I'm not working with them at the moment, but I definitely would be interested if they have some really good combination leopard geckos. Right now, most of the ciphers out there in the markets are just like the pure cipher with some recessive genetic mix, which is half of something. And once they have a really good combination, good quality leopard gecko, that's probably when I would get into it. But I love Cipher because they have these solid black eyes, like Super Snow. And that's the main things that I love about Cipher. So I will have to do more research on that as well. But I just like their eyes, so that's why I want to do some really good projects with other lines.
So since I was slacking on my Cipher research, but you did well, thank you for that. What are some of the characteristics of the Cipher? You said it has black eyes. Is that like always? Does it have any pattern changes?
So I'm not 100% accurate, but from my reading, I heard that it is the recessive. I'm not sure if the eye characteristic comes out as the like dominant or something like that, but I think those are recessive as well. So yeah, and they also have broken reverse stripe patterns on its back when they're hatching, and those start to fade away as they get older.
Okay.
I think those are pretty much it for the appearance.
Did you read anything about how it affects the brightness or the tone of the color, or we just don't know yet?
I I haven't found any information about that yet. So
Okay.
if anyone knows about more details, since I don't work with them right now, and not a lot of people work with them right now, only Gecko Boy is the one who would have a lot of information. So I sometimes reach out to them if I have any questions, but I think they will have a lot of information about that in the next couple of years, because I think they're like mixing a lot of different morph in their collection.
It's brand new, right? So it could be something huge. We will see as time goes on. Okay, so we got some big questions coming into chat here. Can a Max Snow pair well with an Eclipse? If you want to tackle that real quick.
Is that, where is that question?
Can
you repeat the question?
Yeah, there might be a lag, but Brian Rodriguez says, can a Max Snow pair well with an Eclipse gecko?
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's how Galaxy came out. So if you pair Max Snow, it comes with the Super Snow. But if you have an Eclipse, it's a recessive line. So it will take another year, 2 years to get the visual Eclipse, unless you have a both hat Eclipse or sort of things like that. But I think it's a really good morph, and I love Galaxy, so
that's your jam right there, right?
Anything that I work, I love it. So, and
I know.
X-Snow and Eclipse is one of them.
And that's a good tip, right, Chris? Work with what you like. Don't necessarily like buy into what other people like to think you're gonna sell it, because you got to be passionate about this, right?
And also, like, I wouldn't recommend like starting a bunch of different projects when you're just starting, because it's gonna be confusing.
Yeah.
So just focus on one morph. That would be the best way to learn like all these things, and especially like incubation, you will have to learn about that too. And especially if you have multiple geckos, you have to learn about thermostat, how to use thermostat, rack system, all these things. So I think first couple of years, first one or 2 years, stick with like small amount of lever geckos and have some good experience. And when you think you're ready about the morph and all these setups and everything, I think it's a good to move on to the next morph, because that's how I started it. I started only with 2 morph. Black Knight is not my first one, but Tangerine was my first one, and Galaxy was my first one. So I try to keep it simple as possible so that I can learn a lot from that at the beginning, so that I don't make like mistake while I'm doing projects.
That's definitely smart. Start small and grow from there, right? Because these are animals, and you do have to observe their characteristics. And this ties into Thurman Merman's question. In his observation, he has a rack system with the heat at the back. In his observation, the geckos won't go under the paper towel to like get closer to the heat source. So when he's checking his temperature, should he check the temperature probe? Should he put the probe on top of the paper towel, which is over the heat source, or should he put it under the paper towel if he has a rack system like with the tub, is what I'm guessing he has.
With a rack system, I don't think you will have to. You don't need to worry about that a lot, because depends on which rack system you have. But for animal plastic, there's a small gap where you can install your, what is that called? That metal.
The probe?
Yeah, probe. Yeah, I forgot the word. Yeah, you can just install the probe and you should be all set. But I don't think the Sea Serpent has one. So if you have a Sea Serpent or other brands, I would recommend putting them on the floor, right above the heat tape, where it's located at.
Okay.
And then make a space for the tubs to go in and out.
So
that's how I did it.
Don't put it in the tub, but tape it to the heat tape outside the tub, right? And then use like a temperature gun or something to tell the temperature over the hot spot.
And for the first couple of days, I would say 48 hours, I would have another extra thermostat will be in there, just to measure what the temperature is inside the tub.
Okay.
So I can double check with that. But normally, if you set it up somewhere around 88 to 90 with that temperature, I think it should be fine, especially with the rack system, because you have a wall everywhere around the top, so the temperature will eventually be pretty
like level, even.
Yeah, so I don't think that won't be a big issue. But if you have like a glass enclosure, that's something you should.
Yeah. Warning on that: heat tape and heat pads will get very hot on the glass, without a thermostat. So just be aware of that. I forgot what I was going to say, but it was tying into. Oh, so I think Thurman Merman's concern, one of the concerns he had is if the gecko was getting enough heat. But from what I know, Chris, and you can confirm this if it's true, if the gecko is not getting enough heat, that it's going to throw up its meal, right? Because it's not going to have heat to digest. I know I've seen that with my geckos. I don't know if you have with yours. So I think he's a little concerned if his temperature is too cool on the hot end. But I would just say that one of the signs might be your gecko would throw up. And he says the gecko is sitting on the hot end, and that could be a sign that the gecko is just enjoying it, right? Liking that temperature zone.
Yeah, and also I had that couple experience too. I had a gecko who threw up, but it's not digested. I still see the mealworms, which I think it's because of the temperature. It was just too cold for them to digest. But overall, my rec system was good. The temperature were all good. It's just that they were probably like staying in the cold zone, and that's why the food wasn't digested a lot. But if you see them a lot of time, then I highly recommend making some changes. But if that happens like every 3 months, 2 months, it's very rare. I don't think it's a really big issue until you see them not eating for a long time. As long as they're eating fine and doing everything fine as usual, then I think it won't be a really big issue. But if that issue just constantly happens over and over, then I think you should probably go visit vet or make some adjustment with your setup or something like that.
You know, this is a routine I've gotten in, Chris, but how I mentioned earlier, any animal hobby, you must observe your animals to see if they're giving you any signs that something's wrong, right? So I always observe my leopard gecko's poo. Every time I go in there and feed them, clean their cage, does their poo look normal? Is it watery? Are they regurgitating? Those are all signs that can let me know, okay, they don't have enough heat. Maybe they have a parasite or whatever, you know? So do you kind of do something like that as well? Like look at their poo and kind of look for clues of what could be wrong?
Honestly, like, because they're not like dogs where they don't express their feelings or anything like that. So yeah, poop is the main thing that I look at too. And especially when the healthiest poop that you should see with your leopard gecko is a hard poop with a white urinate.
Yeah, urinate. Yeah,
but if you see it's solid, then that's healthy. But if it's like liquid or if it's green, that's really bad. Or if they don't poop a lot, then something's going on with your geckos. And I have like 3 different supplements that I provide when something happens like that. And especially one of my black knight that came from Netherlands, I think it was a little bit cold when he was coming here to the United States. So for nearly like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, he wasn't eating well. Like he was not eating, and he was getting skinnier, and he's losing weight. And I was so scared, like how everything's becoming worse and worse. But after I started feeding like a Foodie Bite, which is one of the products that's on our website, but it's like a pudding, insect pudding, where you can feed when your gecko is not able to digest food well. And also I have different supplements that helps with the digest system. So there are a couple of items that I use, which I will probably share it somewhere in the Instagram or YouTube later. I don't have it with me right now, but there's some good products that you can use when they're not digesting well.
All right, so another couple live questions. Since this is a live chat, we'll prioritize some live questions. Kid Fredo Vlog says, can a blood tangerine go well with a hyperexantic max snow? Now, you don't normally see that terminology, but hyperexanthic is going to be, I'm guessing, just a high black and white max snow. Is that what you think he means by that? A high white and black?
I've heard of this line before. I'm not familiar a lot, but
let's just use regular max snow, because that might just be a specific line from somebody. But would you say a blood what happens when you take a blood and mix it with a tangerine? Can you get an in-between shade, or is it always going to be like tangerine, or Max Snow white? You know what I mean? Like,
from my experience, like I haven't mixed with the blood with the snow lines yet, but from other breeders, when I saw them doing like mixing those two lines, it seems like it's more going towards the snows rather than tangerines. So you'll be seeing more snow with
like lighter color.
yeah, something like that. Because I have seen someone who worked with the Blood Galaxy, which was really interesting.
That is interesting.
It's like
Yeah.
a Black Knight version of Galaxy, but yeah, and then they mix it with the Black Knight, and it looks more like a brownish color.
Okay.
It was more like a trend. If there's albino mix there, then it will become like brown. But
And
yeah,
that was my I had a personal question on that. Has anyone taken albinism into the Black Knight project, and does it create like a brown or champagne gecko?
good questions. I was thinking about that for a very long time, but I was afraid of doing it because I didn't want to make a mistake. But what from the information that I studied, you know how albino they tend to make the pigments brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Black Knight's main point is to get it darker. But if I mix with the albino and Black Knights, I think it won't be a really good way to. Yeah, it won't be a good mix in my predictions.
Okay.
I want the Black Knight to be dark, not bright. So I think you can still do it. I saw some breeder who had albino with the Black Knight. So I think that's possible. But if you're a type of person who wants to keep that black color, solid black color, then I would recommend putting the albino side between other projects instead of Black Knight. I
Okay.
think it will make it more brighter.
Good point. So everyone has their own different method, but Jason Haran asks, how long do you leave the male in when pairing him with the female? How do you do that, Chris from Geckopia?
Okay. I think everyone is a little bit different for this one. I tried both of the way where I put male putting into female on top, where female to male top. And overall, many breeders seems like they put females to male top, and that's how they do it. So that's the only thing that I'm doing right now. Especially, I have a new Rex system from Animal Plus with the really bigger version. So now I have a like X large size tub where I can have a lot of space for my geckos when they're mating. So hopefully that helps
Nice.
a lot.
Now, do you remove the male after mating? Do you leave him in there for a couple weeks, or how does that process look for you?
So this is my mistake. One of the mistakes that I made last year. I think this could help you guys as well if you're watching this. But basically, what happened was I had one of the leopard geckos that was paired. So actually, like all of my leopard gecko, when I did pairing, I would literally take the male out right away as soon as I see them mating. But one of the gecko, they were going really well. Excuse me. And then I saw them mating, and then I basically separated them right after they finished it. But for some reason, female was not had laying eggs, so I think it didn't go successfully at the first time. So I would recommend going forward. What I'll do is I'll probably put them for about 2 days to a week, those time of period, to have them bunch of mating experience, and then I think that will maybe boost up the chance of producing right eggs. But I had a mistake where I just literally split them apart right after I saw them mating for first time. But I think some geckos need multiple mating in order to produce eggs. So
Yeah, and I have had that problem as well, Chris, to touch on that. And so, in case anyone's wondering, if you do remove the male because maybe the female is getting aggressive to him and isn't ready, you could just try to repair them again like a week later, right? Like, and if she accepts him, then you know it's good. And then if you want to like try to repair them again and she fights him off, then you know maybe she's fertile. Like the female's actions tell a lot, right? Is that something that you've seen in your experience as well?
so far, I never had any fertile females at the moment. But yeah, I heard that's what usually happens when females are fertile. Then they reject males a lot, and I always see them when I pair them together, just in case. Like for the first 30 minutes until they mate, I would see them how they're doing, and if they're like doing really bad, then I would just literally split them again, and then maybe come back 48 hours later, like 2 days after, and see how they're doing again, and just repeat that process if it doesn't work out. But normally, everything goes really well when I'm seeing them ovulating, and they're pretty much all set there.
Okay.
I've never seen any females that like rejects the male a lot. So.
Now I know we're over our hour. Do you mind? You're busy and you're tired. Do you mind giving us another 15 minutes or so? Would that be okay?
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
fine,
we
I'm
can.
fine.
Okay. Well, this is great, Chris. I know these live streams, they're shareable and it has good content. And I think this is, yeah, this is one of the things that Gecko Hobby is missing right now. We need live streams because the ball python hobby has tons of live streams and lots of engagement. So we are hoping to be that for the leopard gecko because we love and are passionate about this. So now, do you have any videos on your channel about breeding or and incubating leopard gecko eggs?
Sorry, I have to think a little bit.
You're like, I got a ton of
I
videos.
I have like a lot of video. I think I have one which I reviewed about the incubator, but I'm not sure if I have reviewed like how I keep my eggs healthy or something like that. But I'll definitely go over again and review if I have that confidence, and if I can, I'll create one for my subscriber or anyone who watches my video.
Yeah, that's kind of where I started making videos was I see you do a lot of videos on like morphs and how-tos and showing your product and stuff. I do have some videos up on my channel, one breeding video and one incubation video, beginning to end with a lot of detail because I guess I like to talk. If you can't tell from this stream, I'm not one of those YouTubers that like when I edit my videos, I can't make it short because I'm like, when I was researching genetics and all that stuff, I wanted to know more. And sometimes videos wouldn't give me everything I was looking for. So my videos tend to be longer. So I'll leave a link in the chat to anyone who wants to know about leopard gecko incubation as well as breeding for a couple of videos I have. But can you briefly touch on your incubation process, Chris? What incubator do you use and how does that work for you?
There's two incubators that I use for red-eye skink and leopard geckos. Red-eye skinks need different temperatures, so I use the Exoterra brands. And also the another one for leopard geckos, it's a one incubator, but it has two different temperatures for female and male. And that is a custom made from PJR Reptile. I think that they're the one who creates the custom, but I literally reached out to them. I got introduced from some other breeders, told me that they were creating really good incubators. So I went out to them and they made a custom incubator for my liver. So I just
what? You got a custom? You're doing it big, Chris. Very cool.
It's too small, so I think I'll need another one for next.
Yeah,
next
I mean, when you're producing hundreds of geckos, which you're getting close to that mark, you do need that space, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was a question that juniors Leos had for you as well, like the full process of incubation and everything. And since we are short with some time with Chris here, I just dropped two of those links in the video for incubation and breeding. Let's get to a couple other topics before the stream ends here. The future of leopard geckos. Chris, do you attend shows right now? Do you vend at shows or go to reptile shows in the Nevada area?
Yes. Las Vegas, they normally, before Beerberg happens, they normally have 3 different expos in Las Vegas. So I would normally go to the one that has the event on September because that's one of the biggest events out of all of these 3. So I would go as a visitor every year, but I have never became vendor before. And I was trying to be the vendor for this year, but then all the schedule got canceled. And one of the cool things that I found recently, I'm not sure if you've been reached out, but there's one reptile person. he created the software Virtual Reality Expo.
I did see that. Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah.
I haven't joined it yet. Did you do it? Did you join it?
So he it's not recent. It was like
A couple months ago, right?
10 months. Excuse me?
It was a few months ago, right? When he did
Yeah,
that?
it was like 9 months, 10 months ago, and they reached out to me for free. So I wanted to try out, but during those times I didn't have my products, and most of my reptiles are pretty much all gone. So I have nothing to sell. Just to be there and show my friends. So I wasn't able to attend that event, but probably in the future, like if they have more of those things, I would love to try out, and especially after all these things goes away, I would love to be in the expo and show people our products and show our cool reptiles and these sort of things.
I'm excited for you, man. You're gonna put your product in actual retail stores around, around Nevada, Amazon, and then spread. I'm excited to see where you grow, and I'm excited to see you at shows. People love to see that familiar face and the face they're watching on YouTube. So I'm sure there'll be tons of people that would love to see you. And you have Geckopia merch, right? Like sweatshirts, shirts and
So
stuff.
I had a sweatshirt. This one was the one that I created for the first time, but then I got rid of them because obviously winter season was over. So I didn't have a merch, but then right now I'm actually creating one of the t-shirts just as a test. But yeah, there's going to be a merchant t-shirt, and I'll definitely love to have you try out as well. But it was designed from one of my followers who had experience in design field, and she just gave me this free design, and I tried it, and a lot of people loved it. So I'd love to see how people react. But yeah, there's the one that's creating right now. But going forward, I want to make more shirts because I love creating shirts and do a lot of things. So
Yeah.
in the future,
You're that marketing product guy. You got that knowledge in you. So let's see. There Glangella Zero asks, will you ever go to a reptile fair in Italy? I don't know why she's asking, or he's asking Italy, but why?
So recently I had a collab with Matt Mattia. He is Italian reptile YouTuber. He
Okay.
reached out to me, really cool guy. He's funny and nice person. He asked me for collabs, and he had a really, really good subscriber there, which like I think it was 11K or something. A lot of people were watching when I was doing collab. So a lot of Italian people who love reptiles came to me and asking a lot of questions, which I love to answer and help. But yeah, I think he is one of the person who came from Matt's content YouTube video, and
So if you can fund it one day, would you go to Italy to a reptile show and present some Geckopia presents there?
So honestly, I have been reached out from many owners from reptile shops from all over the states, and also I had a customer who ordered from Russia, Germany, France, all over the countries, and I was able to ship them out, and people love them. So I want to be more exposed and help out more people. But yeah, that's one of my goals. But it's just that right now in the situation of everything going on, it's just a little bit hard, and also I'm working as well. But once everything settles and becomes my full business, and I'd love to travel to Germany because I heard Germany is one of the biggest expo there.
Yeah, the ham show, HAMM.
Yeah. I want to attend that one day, but
one day maybe we could get a ticket together, head out there, and just be some crazy Americans out there.
Yeah, I wish I could go there in Italy as well and meet Matt as well. There's still a lot of people who love because like main things about doing all these things. I know how hard, and like as a beginner, there wasn't not a lot of information out there when I was just getting started, especially Redback Philosophy. There was not a lot, but I know that struggle, so I want to help out those people who are struggling because they're life animals, and I want to make sure that they're living fullest, best quality of their life. So if there's anything that I can help, and if they have any questions, I would love to help.
Well, I ask a favor, Chris. If you ever get a Geckopia private jet, please swing by, pick me up in Arizona, and we could go to ham.
I'll do that.
Okay. You're like, that's one promise I can handle because I don't think that's gonna happen. But you never know, right?
No
I
worry,
I appreciate it, Chris. Let me take a quick look at these questions here. Where do you think the reptile hobby, where do you think the leopard gecko hobby is going? Do you see it as something that has maintained its stability since the early 2000s when it really like blew up? And do you think it's growing, staying stagnant? Do you think it's dying? What are your thoughts on where the leopard gecko hobby is specifically?
Good question. So I'm not sure if you heard of like Pokemon cards recently. Have you been hearing that recently?
Another Pokemon set being revealed, or
Pokemon cards.
oh,
Collecting Pokemon cards, reselling Pokemon
oh
cards.
yeah,
And they used to be super popular, trendy a long time ago.
right.
My answer to that question is trends repeat over and over again.
Okay.
Right now, I think rubber geckos are still popular, but it's not as big as how it was like beginning of 2000s. But I definitely think it will come back again. It's just I don't know when, but yeah, I think it will come up. And by the time when it's more popular, then there will be a lot of cool morphs out there. So you will definitely see a lot more cool geckos at that point. But I think right now it's still popular, especially like Asia side. It's super booming. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, they love their tangerines and their white and yellow tangerines. Huh? They produce some beautiful stuff over there. Have you ever shipped anything from Asia to here? How does that process work if you happen to know?
So I have a two, I wouldn't say Asian exporter. They work with me for Canada and Europe and other places. I asked for Asia, but I don't think
It's
they're
tough right
doing
now, huh?
it's just the regulation itself is super tough. So normally they would be able to do it, but last time when I asked, which has been a couple months, they said it wasn't available. So I think some exporters still do. I see some people shipping out and in from Asia to US and US to Asia, but I haven't found anyone who do shipping to international on my side.
Oh, so here's a note: is Ham in Germany? They so there's an international shipper called Dutch Dragon
Yeah,
Imports. Yeah, and they go to Ham all the time. So all of the largest breeders in like Europe and Asia, when they go to a ham show, if you buy a gecko from a breeder at a ham show, like even if you're in the United States, Dutch Dragon Imports will be there and they will grab the gecko or the animal for you and then ship it to you. And obviously you have to pay them as this middleman shipper. But that's one of the ways that I know you can get animals from like Asia and Europe is to go through Dutch Dragon Imports, who goes to the ham show every year and they collect reptiles for Americans or for Canadians or for people on this side of the world, you know. And they ship it to us because they have all the licenses and everything required to ship all the legal species, you know. So they could get it to America. I'm pretty sure it costs a couple $100 to get it here, but hey, if you're dealing with like super high quality stuff that you want to incorporate, it's worth it, you know?
yeah, I think I should reach out to.
Yeah, Dutch Dragon Imports, you can ship to them and they will deliver to the ham show. And whoever is at the ham show, like let's say you did a deal with a guy in Europe, all he has to do is go to the ham show and Dutch Dragon Imports will bring your gecko that you ship to them. They'll bring it to the ham show and that person can get the gecko from you that way. So they're like a middleman for America and Europe, basically. So you could talk to them more about that. But
Okay, but it has to be through the ham show, right? It's not. If they don't have a ham show, then they wouldn't be.
It has to be through the ham show or any place that they can ship because their location is located in Europe, right? Dutch Dragon Imports is in Europe. You would ship your animal to them, and then I think they have the ability to ship it to other countries within Europe from there. Obviously, you'll have to figure out payment and how that whole process would work, but that's something that I'm still new in and need more experiencing. But I do believe it's possible for them to ship to other countries and also bring it to ham when they do go to the ham show each year, you know?
I see. Yeah, I should try doing that. Because I see a lot of good breeders in Asia, like China and Korea is also one. Which they have a lot of cool morph out there, and there's a
They
couple
do.
of morph that I couldn't find here in the United States. So later in the future, if I'm able to bring some of them, I would love to try that.
Yeah, if I find out more too about it, I'll let you know. But yeah, Dutch Dragon Imports, you can email them and they'll let you know more about their process. Just ask them whatever question you got.
Yeah.
So real quick, DEA Exotics said he thinks that things are going back to base genes or like single genes within leopard geckos for people to focus on, so that people know what animal that they are working with. Because there's a lot of hets right now, and you don't know what's in the animal. There are huge breeders that are going to stay the course. So that's a good point as well. Is every time the market shifts and trends, sometimes people are going to focus on many genetics. Sometimes people are going to focus on one genetic, but you just find what you like and kind of roll with it. Is that what you do?
So yeah, I talked this out a lot in my video, where it's literally hard to find the pure genetics nowadays. Like especially the blood tangerines, the JMG created it, but not many people really has that pure blood tangerines or pure black knights anymore. There's only certain people, like small amount breeders, that gives the pure lines, and therefore I think it's really good to go back and start doing the pure lines. But I just can't find a lot of breeders who works with the pure lines, so that's why it's a little bit more difficult to work with them. And a lot of people likes pures as well. But as long as you love it, then I think pure genes are perfect. But there are a couple people who love putting combinations and make some really cool appearance. So if that's the case, then I would recommend combinations.
Yeah, each person's going to have their own passion, right? And I think going back to that single genetics thing, I think that's great for the people who do have that passion, and it'll be great for them to have geckos that they could sell us that we know are het free, and we can incorporate that into our projects and stuff. So a couple questions here because we're coming up on our time. Do you work with any of the subspecies? Like the big Angraminu leopard geckos or the Afghanicus, the Turkmenicus?
So I have heard that angry Mew are a lot more calm when it comes to handling. I'm not sure if that's true, but right now I don't have any of them because I honestly don't have a lot of experience with leopard geckos compared to those big breeders. I still want to have a more information, more data and experience from the leopard gecko, and once I think I'm pretty good with the leopard geckos, and that's when I would probably start trying out different species, subspecies. But crested gecko is one of them. Gargoyle is one of them. Something that I want to try in the future. I just wanted to try out when I think I'm ready to move on to the next one. But for right now, I'm sticking with the leopard geckos and red eye schemes, just to keep everything simple and perfect.
Start
I just don't want to
simple.
go broad.
Yeah.
I just want to make it simple for me so that I can manage it well.
So
Especially some geckos, they have different setups. So it'll be a lot difficult to handle it.
yeah, especially in Angraminu, that thing is what, like 12 inches, 13, 14 inches long. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to put in a rack system there. Huh? We gotta move things. Talk about a gecko bowl for that thing. But
And also people reaching out for like gecko plates where for our height. Some people are asking about bigger size because their super giant doesn't fit into their. So I'm keeping all those recommendations to myself.
yeah.
But yeah, Angry Mew, I'm not sure how big they are in real life. I've never seen them in real life. So,
Yeah, I've only seen them in pictures, videos. They look like they're about 12 inches or so, which is a decent size, 12, 13 inches. So real quick, the what?
Isn't it like a bearded dragon size?
Yeah, I mean, bearded dragons, they get like 18, 20 inches. So, and Angraminu is coming up on that size. Yeah, they're pretty big. So we'll see. I mean, maybe one day we'll work with them and can do a whole episode on them. So tying into that purity thing real quick, Sam was asking about genetic defects and how you can minimize genetic defects. And that kind of ties into Angermainu, Afghanicus, Turkmenicus, because have you heard about creating cleaner bloodlines by crossbreeding like that? Like taking a American macularis species and breeding it with like a Turkmenicus species. Now you're diversifying that bloodline a lot, and it's one way to kind of get genetic defects out of that bloodline.
About the other subspecies, I'm not quite sure about it, but for leopard geckos, I have heard by doing a diversifying like different lines would help for inbreeding issues. So that's why I'm like diversifying my black lines so that it causes less issues for when it comes to producing eggs. So hope that helps, Sam.
Yeah, so Sam was saying, does it occur only in inbreeding? That brings up a really good point. What are a couple of the morphs that you know about, Chris, that has a problem no matter what, or most of the time, even if it's not inbred, you know, such as the Enigma and stuff? Can you talk about a couple of those genes that are known to have issues?
Enigma is one of the highest rate of inbreeding issues, and also lemon frost is one of the like the top of the line. But I heard WY has some issues. It's not as big as like Enigma, but I heard like there's some issue with the WY when you do line breeding, and also what else? Super snow eclipse galaxy. I have heard they sometimes do cause some issues when you breed them for a long time. It's rare, but those are the morphs that I've heard. None from tangerines or other lines. I think it's because they have less issues because they have so many diversified lines. Like tangerine, if you look at them right now, like they have so many different tangerines, like GG, Atomic, like Inferno, Electric. They have so many diversified tangerines that it's really hard to see those inbreeding issues. But for like black knights, like species that are super hard and unique, hard to produce, has more of a, like inbreeding issue. So if there's, for example, black knight is one of them too. I will consider as a black knight has a slight chance if you do a lot of inbreeding issue. And I have heard that if you do line breeding with the parents and hatchlings, it gives you a higher rate of fertility, infertility rates. So it's always good to diversify whenever you're working with them.
Okay, so that's a good pro tip
NDBE
there.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, NDBE, does that have problems as well?
So for female, from my knowledge, is that they're 100% infertility. So you can't produce eggs. I think that you could, but most of the eggs that you produce will barely have any chance to be alive. So normally, when people have NDB, they wouldn't breed. They would just have it for pets. That's what I've seen. In the beginning, people didn't know about the genetics, so they were just doing line breeding. But after a couple experience, NDB tends to have a lot of those issues with the infertility.
All right, we're gonna get two more questions here, Chris, and we're gonna let you go because you gotta wake up and. Oh, do you have work tomorrow? Are you working tomorrow or?
I'm not working, but I just have a meeting after this. So.
Okay, great.
Pretty much what we're doing. So.
Two quick questions. You got time for that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first question: what do you? This is from fan Yoder.jpg. What do you think is the rarest leopard gecko morph, and how expensive is it?
When it comes to the price, the only gecko that I can think of that's expensive is the red devil, the one that I mentioned earlier. They're about, like last year, they were, I think, $10,000 per pair.
Wow.
It's like a price of car. They
Yeah.
definitely look super, super good. I mean, if you see them, you definitely would want it.
It's like a red Ferrari, huh?
Yeah, it's like a devil called red devil. Like literally, the reason why they call it red devil is they're so bright. It's more like a red, I guess. But that's the one of the more, and I would say Black Knights is the next one. That are expensive, but like if you Google it, you'll see it. You'll literally see that more.
Yeah, I just Googled it right now. Red Devil. And yeah, so I just googled it. It's pretty deep orange there, huh?
Yeah. So
That's sick.
And the people say like this could be a Photoshop, like
Yeah.
CG or something like that. But I seen a video where they reviewed Red Devil, and I see the comparison between like Mandarin tangerines and blood tangerines with those high end tangerine lines. The color itself is just way different than how when you see them in the video. And normally video, do you have tangerine lines?
Yeah. Yeah, Inferno I work with and other crosses.
Nice. You know, like usually, I'm not sure if you face this issue too, but when you take a photos of tangerine line, the saturation doesn't.
It doesn't come through, huh? You're like, oh man, I wish.
A lot of those issues, but yeah, Red Devil is one of the ones. I don't think you need a lot of work with the photos. You can just straightly get a lot of.
Just take it because it's such deep quality, like such saturation. It just doesn't stand a chance against the camera. So okay, so that answers the question. Red Devil, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. I've never seen that video. I'll probably watch it after this live stream because I'm curious about it. But so in case people want to maybe meet you or see you, is there a reptile show that you're going to be going to in Nevada, or are they all closed down for everything this year?
So normally I would go to the Vegas one, Las Vegas. That's the ones that's held in a local place here in Las Vegas. But I found out recently they are supposed to have one of the events in November. I think it's supposed to be this weekend, but they canceled it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
They can't do the event. So I think they're not doing any events for this year, but hopefully starting next year, if they do open back up and everything goes well, then I would love to be there and show people out there with our products. So if you come in Las Vegas, definitely attend that expo and say hi to me. If you
the Las Vegas Expo. Chris, I might be there, Chris. Me and my wife are starting to travel now and get more into it, so I'd love to see it, man. I'm very appreciative of your time tonight. Thank you very much. If people want to get in touch with you, what is the best way to do so? Website, email, Instagram?
So if you have any questions about leopard gecko, you definitely want to come visit our YouTube channel and write comments there. I just check everything there. Some people tend to send me a message, but through the Instagram. But nowadays, I've been getting a lot of misses, so I sometimes forget your questions. And my main point is to help you guys. So if you want to see like a explanation video or something that you see from my video, then definitely write a comment on my YouTube channel. But for inquiries for products or reptiles, you can send me an email or message me through the Instagram, and those are the type of places where I take care of these clients through that platform.
Okay, and is your email on your website?
Yeah, it's basically info@geckopia.com.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Find me, but there's a website. If you go to my website, there's a contact us section on the header, and you can just click that and reach out to me through that, or Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere. Like
you're everywhere, Chris.
So
you're in Italy.
You see there, you'll probably find me except Amazon, but Amazon soon will be coming back for you guys. So.
Well, we appreciate your time. We look forward to your growth and seeing your products expand into the leopard gecko market, because it is creating better products for us to take care of our animals better. So yeah, I showed everybody your contact screen here off your website. I appreciate your time, Chris. Was there any closing remarks or anything you wanted to end on?
Thank you so much, Frank, for bringing me here. It was really fun to talk with you and talk with the people who are watching our video. But I highly recommend, if you guys are new, make sure you subscribe to Geeky Gecko. Also, he has an Instagram page, so make sure you follow him. But any things that you have any questions about leopard gecko and red skinks, I'm definitely a guy who could answer your questions. So feel free to reach out to me anytime whenever you have any questions or facing any issues. Other than that, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and asking all these amazing questions. It was amazing.
All right. Well, Jason said, excellent job. Appreciate the content. Look forward to more of it. So thank you very much, Jason, Sam, everyone, for tuning in. We'll give him a round of applause. Thank you, Chris, for coming by. We appreciate it, brother. We look forward to seeing where you go in the future, and we'll tune in next time. We'll see you somewhere or another.
Thank you, Frank. Just let me know if you want to do another live. I'd love to do it again. It's really fun. So.
It is, right? You'll have to start doing some on your YouTube channel, too. You're almost at like 1K subscribers now, so things are moving up for you, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, brother. Much, yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. All right, Chris. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.